Welcome to the 190th episode of the MailleWerX Chainmail Livestream. My name's Sean, and I run MailleWerX.com, where you can find all your chainmail themed apparel and accessories. Okay. I had a software update, right? Perfect. Right as I got started, I got hit with a software update. Let me check. Here. How is... Are we in focus? We are. Okay. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I had enough time to get almost all set up and ready to go. It was amazing. So we are working on using some of these black rings to define the gold scroll work and the yellow scroll work now in this inlay. And I need to remember to order stuff tomorrow. I'm gonna run out of the black rings and then we'll finish adding all the yellow that we can, but it's not going to be everything. Yodel who? Yodel-a-hee who? Alright. So, this is where I left off last night. I did finish that after a very long stream last night. Longer than normal. Try and make this curve a little more curvy before we add the black rings here. So that way when we add the black rings, it'll look correct. This is the most egregious one so far. Excuse me. How's it going, Rick? Alright. How was your stream? So, a lot of interesting stuff going on in the world. Kind of calamitous and apocalyptic. Interesting to see people's opinions that they post. I love it when someone posts something and they're just wrong, right? Like it's clear that they're wrong and they don't know enough about the topic to really discuss it. Like they may have a snippet of understanding about the whole thing, but I think what I need to do to move these forward. It's like the 7 blind men go and are touching an elephant in order to figure out what it is, and one's got a hold of the trunk, one's got a hold of the tail, one's got a hold of the ear. You know, they've got their perspective, but they don't have the big picture kind of thing. It's always interesting to see those posts pop up. Your stream went pretty good? That's good to hear. I'm glad of that. Much like everything else I want to watch and engage in, I'm usually doing bedtime or dinner time by the time your stream pops up, which sucks. I do enjoy when I'm able to stop in and say hi. But yeah, so like there are people out there in the world who know what's going on. Oh, I should have just left that in there. Dirt. And so when you see someone's post and it's clearly it's from the perspective of the blind man holding the tail of the elephant, it always amuses me. Hey Peg, how you doing? You know? So during the last 2 years, everyone was a virology expert. Now they're global policy experts. And you can't, like, I've had to just stop engaging with these people because they can't be reasoned with. Is that what I want to do? They will not, they will not be talked out of their opinion, which is fine. It's best just not to engage. Because I know that when I've said stuff that people jumped all over me about it, and as it turns out, I was right. And will I ever get an apology from those people? I'm not going to hold my breath. Alright, I screwed up. I threw a black ring in. Here it is. I found it. Threw a black ring into a bin of green rings. It doesn't go in there. So here, you got some awesome scales in the mail tonight. Thanks again, Rick, for such a great laser job. Oh, nice. Glad you got them. You're in Frank mode tonight. You've got a taste for getting the inlay done. Congratulations. I am happy for you. Okay, so this comes around, and then this needs to be a yellow ring. And I think I just need to adjust. Okay, I see what I'm doing. I think I've got my black line here wrong. I think
all art and imagination at some point leads you to think about things
it's like there was one guy who unfriended me for being an anti-vaxxer, right? And I have a vaccine record longer than my arm. Okay. I've had vaccines that the civilian population doesn't get. I have had vaccines that they stopped because they were dangerous for human consumption. Alright, I was in the military for 7 years. I've had every shot under the sun that's been experimented with. Right? I really don't think that pejorative really applies. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But will I ever get an apology from that individual? No. Do I want one? Not particularly.
I think that having art,
it's like they let you know when they're not going to be a valuable part of your life, and so it's best if they leave early and soon. Early and often. If I do that, will this, that, and that? Or what if I just did this? I could just put a black ring here and then a gold ring over there. Nice, like a good day on inlay stuff done. Some days it's a line and done. Good days when you get to forget how many lines you got done that day. Yeah. Yep. I don't know if I've seen Frankenfurter. So I'll be honest. The last thing I expected to be, when I first heard this, I thought it was a conspiracy theory, right? I was like, what? There's no way. Okay. It's like it's another.
In terms of evolution, I think
it seemed so outlandish that I couldn't believe it. But apparently there are some, I guess, U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. And I'm like, didn't we just do this the last 2 years? It's like, would they really try and pull that trick again? I just dismissed it because I'd only seen a meme about it or something. But no. Undersecretary of State was talking with Marco Rubio the other day about how there are biolabs in Ukraine that they're worried the Russians are going to get a hold of. Or apparently they already have a hold of them. Oh, great. That's a neat trick. So here I thought that the issues in Ukraine were largely because of the 2014, the supposed 2014 Western intervention in the departure of the Ukrainian president, right? Like, there was a coup in 2014, and I was under the assumption that Russia didn't like that, and so that was largely what this was about, because it increased NATO expansion to their regions. And then biolabs show up. Now, I've been with a laboratorian for 15 years who's worked in places like this. And I've been assured that there's nothing volatile in these places. But then we just went through 2 years of this. So high bar, up to 7x7 edge welded cover lap rings with punched rings. Watching streams using up rings for display setups. Nice. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this about me, but I don't watch the news. And anytime I do catch a glimpse of the news, I've been around long enough to just assume that whatever channel I'm watching, whatever it's on, the opposite of what they're saying is true. It's kind of like bills that when they go into Congress, you could have a bill and name it save the whales, right? And in that bill would, be all the fishing licenses the fisheries needed to go out and hunt all the whales, right? Like, that's how they name bills. It's always the opposite of what's in the bill. Like, if you got a bill called U.S. taxpayer relief, you better realize that you're going to get hosed the next year. So that's how the media is, right? Whenever I watch whichever channel, I don't have a preferred one. I just assume that the opposite of what they're saying is reality. And then if you watch movies, Hollywood will telegraph what is going on. Like, if you've never seen Wag the Dog, you should check it out. Okay? It's a movie about how they faked a war in Armenia And not the wholesale slaughter of the Armenian people. I think this was after that? Who's the lead singer of System of a Down? System of a Down, a lot of their music is about the Armenian genocide, right? Senk? No, that's the okay. So anyway, yeah, Wag the Dog's a film about Hollywood being used to fake a war or fake a crisis. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Because Hollywood does that a lot. They will telegraph what is going on. Okay? If you've ever seen the movie V for Vendetta, it's a movie about a government that unleashed a virus on its people. Right? And then blamed someone. I don't remember who. What was the other virus movie? There was one other one I had in mind. I'll think of it. Anyway. So it's like you watch what Hollywood is producing. Oh, okay. Will Smith in Enemy of the State, right? Goes into detail about the problems with the surveillance state, right? Literally, we are more watched over in currently than than Orwell ever dreamed of when he wrote 1984, right? There are more cameras in every home. You know, we do it to ourselves with our cell phones, and I've got these cameras obviously hooked up to my computer, so I'm sure none of it's pinging information back to somewhere. Right? Right? So yeah, Enemy of the State, Will Smith, Jack Black, Gene Hackman, goes into how having a surveillance state that monitors everything you do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is problematic. Okay, then a couple years later, actually I think it was about a decade later, Edward Snowden flees the United States for exposing all of the intelligence gathering alphabet agencies like the NSA are doing, right? So Hollywood, my point is that Hollywood was literally telling us what was going on, you know, long before, well, I shouldn't say they were telling us. They had, I don't know, some kind of magic divination of what was going on. So give a shout out to the Homeland Security agent monitoring the feed. Thanks, Brad. You're the guy. I think I skipped a ring here. I did. Anyway, not to sound like a crazy person, but it's, you know, really weird. When all these movies come out about stuff going on, and then just a little while later, you know, what happened in the movie becomes reality. Not saying there's anything going on, you know, just, it's just weird is all. Okay, I was just looking at this one. And there's countless examples of this. Of course, I can't think of any right now, except the ones I mentioned, because of course I can't, but it's just, you know, just a little strange. There, that's better. So when I found out that the biolabs are real, The Simpsons. The Simpsons is another good one. Wrong color. Feeling tired tonight? Calling it a day. Have a good night, everybody. All right, Barb. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. I think my favorite part about today was people complaining about gas prices, being told to go buy an electric car, and then watching the price of nickel, which is used to make the batteries for the electric cars, skyrocket to the point where a Chinese investor company lost $8 billion because they shorted nickel. Didn't The Simpsons actually predict the election of Trump? They predicted a number of things, right? The Simpsons had it down to him coming down the elevator in his Trump Tower in New York or something, right? Like there's a scene in Simpsons, he comes down the elevator with Melania, and then there's a scene in real life where he comes down the elevator accepting his nomination. I'm not the biggest Simpsons fan, but I don't have anything against the show. I just don't watch it religiously and never did. So, you know, maybe they're going back and editing old episodes or something to make it look like they predicted stuff, or maybe Matt Groening's a time traveler. I don't know. Either one could be true as far as I'm concerned. Like, the whole Mandela effect, right? The other day, one of the things that comes up in those Mandela effect articles is that Shaq was in a... Shaq? No. Oh, God. Sinbad. Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam, right? And if you go to Google, they'll say that this movie didn't exist, but I posted a clip of the cover of Shazam and a link to a clip of the movie on YouTube, right? It absolutely happened. I remember watching this show. Okay, but Google will tell you that no, it never happened. Don't be silly. Right? Like, I get that the Statue of Liberty is on Liberty Island and not on Ellis Island, because Ellis Island is where all the immigrants came through, and Liberty Island is a small island, right? Like, okay, I could have screwed that one up. Wrong basketball player. The thing is not a movie, but a TV program. It might be a TV program. I don't know. I don't think that was a contention. Maybe if... like, you would think if it was a TV program, Google they wouldn't say no such thing existed. Or whatever it was that I posted, I don't remember. Love the Sliders too, I have the full series and watch frequently. Oh, you love the Simpsons too? Yeah. Or is Sliders a TV show? I wouldn't know. I don't watch TV. If it ain't Lord of the Rings, it's not on my television. Can you guys hear me okay? I have moved around my... Sorry if this gets clunky and noisy. Yeah, it's an awesome time to sneeze when I have the microphone in my hand. Thanks, body. Oh, excuse me. Despite what many people may believe, the Shazam movie simply did not exist. However, Sinbad did host a Sinbad the Sailor movie marathon in '94, in which he dressed up as a genie. In addition, Shaquille O'Neal stars as a genie in the '96 movie Kazam, which okay. It also may contribute to the collective confusion. All right, man. I don't know. All I'm saying... Well, I mean, I could be wrong, right? I'm more than willing to accept that I'm wrong on this. It's just... I did see the clip and remember seeing it, whether it was a TV show or not. You know? It's like, what in the world is going on here? That does need to be taken out, but I can cut through here and make this look good. Alright, so going back to people holding the tail on the elephant. It's like they got a piece of information and they run with it, right? And is it? I guess it's I'm gonna have to come over one more. Do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Or better. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. The one where he makes the Skittles rain from the sky is Shaq. You had Kazam and VHS for years. DVD now. See, and what doesn't make sense is if it was a TV show and it's called Sinbad the Sailor, why isn't that what comes up? Or why is this the first time I'm hearing about it? Right. Not that I'm all-knowing or anything, but you'd think that that would be an easy correction to find, you know? Okay. Does that make sense? Right? Like, I have an expectation that a simple explanation like that it was called something else, but he did dress up as a genie. That was correct. Like, that's never mentioned in any of the... I don't know. I haven't seen it mentioned in any of the Mandela Effect articles I've read. I just think it would be in there. It's weird, and I'm okay with being wrong, right? But it's an example of, you know, me having a perspective and, you know, holding the tail and being clearly wrong. I'll take that loss. If that's what I'm wrong about, I'm fine with that. But the people that are wrong about some of the stuff they're posting on, who are holding the tail, I'm not going to say they're dangerously wrong, but the lack of input they have on the situation is dangerous to them. With the Russian using Z for the victory, do you think they will pull the letter Z from your history books like they did with the Tibetan good luck symbol? The Tibetan good luck symbol, huh? Oh. That's funny. Yeah, we're going to have to adjust the whole language because I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tried to get that to happen. Okay? In fact, you know what? Just start a campaign now to get Z removed from the alphabet. Because people who would take up that cause or similar causes, it would be better off if they were distracted by something like that rather than some of the things that they advocate for. So yeah, I'm 100% behind removing Z from the alphabet. With today's cancel culture, just, you know, with the pretend victim culture, right? The being offended for other people on other people's behalf culture. You know, I'm 100% in favor of them wasting their time on stuff. So, remove the letter Z from the alphabet. Can you replace Z with Z? It would make the Canadians happy. No, we can't do anything that would make the Canadians happy. Where's Barb? She's still on here? She went to bed, right? Because you know, and not because I don't have any, not because I have anything against Canadians, but because if we started giving into making, if we started changing our behavior for them, next thing you'll know, we'll be using the metric system, and I'm not prepared for that. Lower the syrup prices and we can talk. A maple tree in every yard and a moose in every pot. Give me the imperial measurements or give me death. Y'all don't use the metric system? Sure we do. We use it for guns and drugs. It's as far as I'm willing to go, though. It's like, what do you do? Like, does anybody ever go to their drug dealer and be like, yeah, I need a pound of cocaine? And the drug dealer's like, oh, 16 ounces. You mean 16 ounces? Like, do they sit in back rooms making drug deals, arguing about what measurements they're using? $50 per gallon, good sir. That's more than oil. Yeah, oil prices. I keep seeing a lot of, the government can't do anything about oil prices. It's all the greedy oil companies. The government opened up 9,000 leases for the oil companies to drill on. And, okay, yeah, they did. You know how long it's going to take for them to go drill those leases and find out if there's oil there at all? Oh, wrong color. There is a problem that's not being addressed, right? Yeah, okay. The government, there's two things the government can do. The state governors can remove the gas tax for, right, you know, temporarily, whatever. I'd prefer for forever. And the federal government can lower the gas tax or remove it which I believe they're actually trying to do, right? So that will help lower gas prices. Okay, that's great. One of the things that they can't do is remove some of the trillions of dollars that they printed into out of thin air and released into the economy. They can't pull that money back, right? So what you have now is a increase in gas prices because you have so much money chasing it. So you're going to find an equilibrium where, I don't know, gas probably like $16 a gallon, maybe more. And people stop buying it. There'll be a point where gas becomes too expensive. People stop buying it, and it'll come back down, right? But that's not going to be until the money that was printed into existence gets used up, and it was trillions of dollars, and it's going to take a while. Today, barrel of maple syrup is worth about $1,200. That's around 18 times the value of U.S. crude oil. Interesting. That's interesting. Oh, the global value of the dollar has been changed due to us printing money. Well, what they did was they printed a ton of money and then shipped the inflation overseas, right? We're giving Ukraine $14 billion in aid, or $13 billion, something like that. Okay? The money, like, we don't have anything in the treasury. The treasury is empty and has been for forever. So the money going to Ukraine is printed from thin air, and the inflation will eventually make it back to the United States. The inflation caused by that printing will come back to the United States. But we've been giving out billions of dollars in aid for as long as I've been alive. So, if you print up a bunch of money, you can give it to a country for certain political favors, like, I don't know, American rights to drill in their coastal waters or something, or whatever they negotiated for, right? And the first person to get that money, which is the banks, right? They don't experience the inflation caused by that printing. It's always the second person and on that experiences higher prices because of the printed money. The Great Rolling War Machine, yeah, they printed trillions of dollars to fund a 20-year war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And, I mean, that inflation's coming home to roost, you know? And it's simply set off by the economic crisis caused by the mass hysteria surrounding COVID-19. And now so it's a cascade of effects. And if you don't know, now you do. And if you think the government can't do anything about the price of gas, you're just wrong. And if you think they're not responsible for the price of gas and you think it's just greedy oil companies, you're wrong. Is that a contributing factor? Sure. Is that the biggest factor? Not by miles. Not only is the money printing the reason for the cost of gas rising, it's primarily responsible for all of the inflation on all the goods. It's just what happens when you print that much money. Now, I don't know. So the people holding the tail, right? Sure. Are they right? Yeah. Okay. But I've got a hold of, like, the trunk and an ear. And then I'm sure I know people who have a hold of a trunk and an ear and a leg, and they know, more about the situation than me. I'm expecting gas to go $10 here pretty soon. Just because there's so much inflationary pressure going on right now. And I don't know if anyone's seen the meme that the gas prices are rising because of the conflict in Ukraine, or because we stopped buying Russia from oil from Russia. Like, we stopped buying oil from Russia on Monday or Tuesday. The effect of that hasn't hit the economy yet, right? Ukraine didn't start until the end of February, when gas prices were already ramping up. We haven't felt the effects of those issues hitting our economy yet. And anyway, take what I say with a grain of salt. Believe it or not, I don't care. I'm just a guy ranting and raving in his basement like a lunatic. Your money is into one of your largest companies since forever, DARPA. Yeah, a lot of money goes in there. How many billions of dollars went into Pfizer for a dud solution to a problem? How many billions of dollars went to creating the problem in the first place? The government is wholly irresponsible with money, and is completely inadequate to handle distributing it or collecting it or anything. They are completely incompetent at it. See, we're giving $13 billion in aid to Ukraine, something like that, right? But we collapsed the Russian economy, and we cut them off from all their banks and everything, and our dear friend China has swooped in to help save the Russian economy. So everybody's switching from Visa and MasterCard over to Chinese credit cards. All right, Rick, have a good night. Right, and the Russian economy is going to be... they'll be okay. They'll have economic turmoil like everyone else. But there are longer-term consequences to being able to shut a country out of the global banking system. Ooh, that looks good. That looks much better. Oh, yeah. Okay, and I mean, Russia and China have been close for a long time, but now they're best friends. They are more than bosom buddies. They've taken their relationship to the next level. You know, China's at second base, maybe third. Alright. Vetu next. Defund the rich is stupid. They made money from people and made jobs for people to fund their silly ideas that can make ways to save the human race. We should give this money to government to spend into war and conflicts. The reason world hunger can't be solved by the rich today is the government won't allow them to unless it's done their way. Okay, let me... defund the rich. Yeah, I mean, there are a number of rich people who gain their wealth at the expense of others. When competitive businesses get caught up in regulatory capture and aren't able to compete anymore, that's when I think the government should be stepping in. Problem is, government creates the regulatory capture laws and allows for companies like Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft to have essentially, not even essentially, to have a legally protected monopoly so that no one can compete with them. That's how they made their money, right? So, if somehow all those guys got their money taken, I wouldn't, or if their assets lost all their value or something, because they're not rich because they have a bunch of cash in the bank. They're rich because they hold stock in their companies, right? There are plenty of people who become, independently wealthy, and they're not using the government to protect them and preventing other people from competing against them, right? So I don't believe in defunding, those people. But people with legal protected monopolies, like, whatever. The reason you can't solve world hunger today, because the government won't let them. That's interesting. I'm sure it's a tit-for-tat relationship. So the people don't want to submit to the government. I can understand that. They don't want to give up their freedom and subject themselves to a government just to have a secure food supply. Another one of the things that is surprisingly interesting, it's an economic effect of charity. And you know how we give every year I was ever in church or in school, on TV, there was always advertisements to, send $5 a month to save this small child from imminent starvation and get them food and medicine and into school. It's like the In the Arms of an Angel Sarah McLachlan pet commercial, but for little African kids. So one of the problems with charities and with government aid, like United States government aid, is that it creates a system where an entrepreneurial guy over there making shoes from tires can't compete with people donating their shoes and having them sent over there, right? And so he misses out on an opportunity to make money to feed his family and ends up being reliant on government aid. I thought that was interesting, right? Because you think charity's a good thing and you want to help people. But then you grow up and find out that it's preventing people from being able to provide for themselves because it's difficult to compete when you make tires from shoes and people are getting their shoes for free, And then you grow up and you think that all the charities that you gave to as a kid, like, the Salvation Army, what was the other big one? I don't remember. There's a large list of charities whose CEOs have exorbitant salaries. like $800,000-$900,000 a year to run these charities, and what they pay out like a quarter of their profits, right? When I found that out, that was I'll never give to a charity I haven't thoroughly researched ever again. That pretty much curbed my giving a lot. Not that I've ever had much to give, but you know, once in a while. It's like you think you're standing back and you're looking at the whole elephant, and then you grow up and realize that you're only holding the tail. Anyway, watch your bank accounts. Watch the prices. I don't keep, I keep very little cash on hand. It all goes into something, whether it's silver or Bitcoin or other crypto projects, or stocks. Because the Russian situation, right, the best resolution is for Ukraine to let the two states become independent, and to allow for Russia to put in their new pro-Russia government, right? That is the quickest end to this, because, you know, Russia's not going to stop what they're doing. Okay? It doesn't matter how many sanctions you put on them. They will literally just turn to China and get bolstered up by them. So they have no reason to stop, right? So the quickest way for it to be over is for Ukraine to surrender. Is that likely to happen? Probably not. You got to get 260 pounds of propane. Do you have a big propane tank? I wish I had a propane tank. That would be nice for a while. Where are we at here? You got to get it tomorrow. So, with gas prices rising, what is the cost of 260 pounds of propane? How many pounds of propane are in a gallon? Right? Is it like milk? Isn't milk like 2 pounds a gallon? 5 pounds a gallon? That's... The propane business is a shady business. They don't, like, there's a going rate for propane, just like there is for gas, but you don't see it posted anywhere. And so you have no idea if the person you're buying propane from is giving you a good deal or not. You want to stock up on propane before it goes up with all this? Yeah. So I was looking at body armor for my kid earlier, and long-term food storage. right? So I understand exactly where you're thinking. And some of the stuff I've done, like with the 2 computers that I built, those were purchased with the intent of creating resiliency, just in case something like this went down. But I haven't been able to. I don't have rain barrels in the backyard. I don't have anything else like future-proofed, you know? So I am looking at getting some of that. $800 to $900 in propane, like a $4.17 a gallon bulk rate discount. Nice. That's not too terrible. Or it doesn't sound too terrible. I sell propane and propane accessories. I'm gonna go down to Taco Bell and get myself a Baja Blast. Like I've spent many years following many different prepper groups and whatnot, and trying to get stuff together. But my biggest battle has been the amount of debt I incurred over the last, I don't know, decade. I was just really not good with money. I'm doing much better now. But for the last, I don't know, 10 years, it made it basically so that I wasn't able to do any of that, you know, future-proofing or resiliency building or whatever you want to call it into your systems. Like, I don't have any solar panels. I don't have any rain barrels. I don't have I had a garden. It was just such a pain in the ass. It got torn out and a shed got built. And I've been told that I'm building planter beds this year, so we will grow food again. And we've got some jars and canning. We have the ability to can. But I don't have a deep freezer. I don't have a lot of mason jars. I've got some stuff. I'm probably better off than many, but nowhere near where I would like to be. Just in general. So I've really been looking into solar panels lately, because if I can get a standing solar panel installed in my backyard, right? It's not really going to do much because it's Wisconsin. But something's better than nothing. I decided definitively that I do not want to put them on my roof. You're installing solar this summer in case garden beds to grow greens into midwinter. Lots of whites and red potatoes, more green beans and peas and snap peas this year, and a lot more spices. Yeah, you're much more motivated than I am. Right? There's a certain point where if I have to grow my own food, yeah, I'd rather just die. I've done it, but I even started buying books on small-scale agriculture setups and reading about farming and whatnot. But then we had a garden here. Oh, that's the wrong color. We had a garden here, and I was like, yeah, Nah. I love all the people that say, oh, you know, if the world goes to shit, I'll just go out and shoot a deer. Right? And then you realize that that's what everyone is going to be doing. And there's not enough deer to feed everyone. There's a safari park nearby. It's about an hour away. I guess I could go shoot at one of the domesticated, the quasi-domesticated exotic animals they have there. Alright. Your grandparents at 82 have 10 chickens and 10 acres of crops, so you have a small hobby set up less than 100 square feet of planet Earth. You want to grow a multi-fruit tree that grows multiple fruits on one trunk. I have a friend that was doing that. He had like a lemon branch, a pear branch, or an orange branch, or some weird setup like that. And he just cut the little, or he grafted all the little branches on. Alright. Alrighty. Alright, guys. This is as far as we're going to be able to go tonight, but it's coming along. This is all cleaned up. It looks great. Okay, and then I just got started over here. Nothing's really fleshed out yet. But this comes over this way. This comes over this way, goes behind this, comes out over here. It's a whole mess, right? And just like over here, right? Once all that black gets in there, it's just gonna pop out and you'll understand what you're looking at. It'll be nice. But it is 10:10. Alright, thank you everyone for hanging around and letting me rant and rave. Van Aken's tree of 40 fruit, an invention that is just what it sounds like, is capable of producing 40 different varieties of fruit, plums, peaches, apricots, nectarines, cherries, and others. That's cool. I guess my first question would be, as it grows bigger, it just produces more of each fruit. So the yield would be small while it's younger, I'm assuming. So you get a couple fruit trees like that and you're good to go. I don't know, I don't eat that much fruit, so. Branch size determine yield size. Yeah. So the bigger it gets, the more it's able to go. Oh, I need to take a picture of this. I always pack everything up at the end of the stream and then turn around and have to take a picture anyway. Alright, more branches, more fruit of said type need a hardy base to add large variety. Yeah. Well, that's cool. It'd definitely be something to have, right? In a economically perilous situation like what we're facing. So, alrighty, guys. Once again, I do appreciate you being here and all your engagement and just hanging out with me in general. We've come a long way. We're getting there. We're almost out of black rings, and then also. We're almost just, like, we have this portion to go of really defining where the gold scroll work goes over itself or under, and then replacing the yellow rings. So I might, oh, excuse me. I might do some work on this tomorrow, but I got a lot of other stuff to work on, so we'll see. Alrighty. You guys all have a wonderful evening. Be sure to check out MailleWerX.com for all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs, and I will see you guys later. Alright? You guys have a wonderful evening.